All right, everybody, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories. And there seems to be a trend on the podcast these days where I just can't let things go and I have to immediately get people back in here to finish their episodes. As you saw, we had best friend Eric Nussbaum back, we had Shakeem back, and today we've got another returning guest, Pias. Peter Joss is back to finish up his episode since I talked over him, I interrupted him, I changed subjects on him, and I didn't let him finish telling his story. So today I'm going to try and shut the fuck up and let him talk. Welcome to Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories, the podcast that shines a light on ordinary people and their extraordinary stories. From small towns to big cities, we're sharing the real, raw, and inspiring moments that connect us all. Because every voice matters. Every story counts. This is Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories.
Hello.
Hello, Peter.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I got dogs and
Can't be better than that.
company.
And you've been speaking to a lady who I'm very excited for you lately.
Yeah. Well, it's literally like first day. So
That's okay. I mean, it's a very exciting lady, and I hope to fuck that it proceeds because that will make me super happy for you.
yeah, me too.
Okay. So last time I had you on here, we started talking about you having seizures.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I mean, you started it, and then I changed topics on you, and we just went off the rails on so many different things. I want to get back to that now because I'm sure that people are curious about that whole seizure thing. So
Yeah.
tell me the tale of the seizure.
So I was currently in a not currently. I was in a relationship at the time, and in my mind it was going well.
Is this without being a little vague, tell me which one it was.
This was the one with the kid that lived with me.
The last one?
Yeah.
Okay.
The most recent one.
Yeah, the one where I didn't see you and you disappeared for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just went MIA.
Yeah.
So that was actually when you had just reached out about getting the job at the labs. So I was trying to get everything in order and get cleaned up, and so I had.
Let's clarify by cleaned up because that can be a very vague and very suspect phrase.
Fair, yeah.
So when you say cleaned up, you're not talking about like anything hardcore drugs or anything, are you? You're talking about maybe booze and weed.
Booze and pot, yeah.
Okay.
So I had quit. Well, I needed to quit alcohol in general just because I refuse to acknowledge that it's a depressant, and it's going to make everything worse.
Of course.
So I had quit that already, and then I had quit pot as well. And in connection with that, my sleep had started going downhill. My appetite was just non-existent.
Wow.
My stress control was through the my stress was through the roof.
And real quick on your eating. You having trouble with your eating? Didn't you also have a gluten problem or something like that?
I thought it was gluten. I thought it was just couldn't, randomly in my life I developed an intolerance. I cut out gluten for a while. I tried different diet tests to see like what was causing it or not. Turns out it's just IBS. Nowadays it's spicy foods that'll trigger it.
Can it be from a stress related thing as well, or does it have to be a food that triggers it?
They looked into that to see if it was like stress ulcers or if that could be a cause of it. I wouldn't be surprised if. I never really got.
I was just curious.
No, it makes sense too because it was during the most stressful point of my life. So that all culminated, and one night, my girlfriend we were in the room reading a bedtime story to the kiddo, and I was sitting up at the foot of the bed, and they were laying down on the pillows, and I was reading, and then all of a sudden, according to them, I clenched up, and I went straight, and then I went down onto the ground, and I was just like convulsing for I think about 5 minutes, and then I came to, and the room was full of paramedics.
Holy shit!
And I was like, "What's going on?" Like, because when you come out of a seizure, it's like you don't know what's going on. You're not oblivious, but you're just completely thrown for a loop.
Wow.
So I'm like, what is happening? And they're like, well, you had a seizure. And I looked at them. I was like, in this voice exactly, I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, no, I didn't. They're like, you did. I was like, no, I didn't.
Come on, you're fucking with me.
Yeah, because it was the first time I'd ever had one. I haven't had one since, knock on wood.
I got you.
And so they, were helping me get kind of situated, and then I had to get in an ambulance, and we on a stretcher going out to the ambulance. I was like, just kind of like out of it, just loopy. And I get in the ambulance, and I don't know if they gave me something, or I just was exhausted from what happened, or if something happened again, and I was out again.
Oh shit.
Came to, I was in the hospital in a bed waiting for a room.
Wow.
And I sat there for like 3 hours, and then finally they got me in a room. They did an EEG. Didn't find anything. They did all kinds of other tests, blood work. They did a CT scan, I think, at one point. Didn't find anything at all that would indicate why I had one, that I would have another one. I was panicking at the time because I delivered for the cannabis company at the time. And I was like, well, am I not going to be able to drive anymore? Because I have a buddy who has epilepsy, and he permanently, he can't drive.
I mean, that should have been the least of your concerns in the grand scheme of having seizures.
Yeah,
You're like, my health or my driving job.
Yeah. Well, you see where my priorities are.
To each their own.
Yeah. But fortunately, they cleared me. They were like, well, since we don't see any reason that you're going to have another one or why you even had this one, it seems like it's just stress.
But it was two, though, right?
It was, well, no, it was just the one seizure, and then I passed out in the ambulance. Okay. And again, I don't know if it was just because I was physically exhausted from that ordeal, or if they gave me something to just kind of knock me out. They could have told me that they were, and I just can't remember.
Fair.
But after that, again, I haven't had anything since. And fortunately, my appetite has kind of recuperated without the need of any medication.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, it's nice to eat again. Again, now the only thing I have to kind of watch out for is spicy.
I mean, that's typical, dude. Like, I can eat the spice with the best of them, but yeah, it always fucks up my stomach. Like I don't think that's anything too abnormal.
Yeah, it's just nice now to know, like, okay, if I want to eat this spicy thing,
yeah, you've got consequences.
I can know what to expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no worry that it'll ever happen again.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So things you've since moved on from that relationship, and have been on the prowl, we'll say.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's a small town, and
it's a small town. Says about Albuquerque.
Yeah, there's not a lot of high potential from what I've found so far, but other than this new girl that I'm just starting to talk to.
But she does sound very potential.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm gonna definitely try to make sure I don't mess this one up. But no, I have the issue of falling hard and wearing my heart on my sleeve, and I know it's not necessarily an issue. It can be an issue, but it's just who I am.
Same. I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I've been that way my whole life, so
yeah. But talked to a few people and didn't work out, and
is what it is.
Go my separate ways and trying to get better. I'm actually just starting an Audible book. It's called Learning to Let Go, to help with overthinking, anxiety.
Wow.
So I haven't even cracked it open yet.
Cool.
It's an Audible book.
Very cool.
But I think I'm going to start that probably tonight because I have the evening free.
Well, okay, so that leads me into a good topic that I wanted to discuss with you. Mental health is super important, and we seem to be in sort of a mental health epidemic, if you will, nationally. You have your struggles, admittedly. So, like, this isn't something that, do you even want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Or
well, I actually have something that just happened the other day that...
Well, if you're comfortable with it, I would like to discuss your mental health struggles and the way you're coping with it and dealing with it. Yeah.
Well, I could be coping better and dealing with it better. I'm learning. I definitely had an eye-opening experience the other day, 3 days ago, after this most recent girl that I was talking to, not the one with high potential now.
The one with the kid.
Another one with a kid. We ended up splitting it off. she wasn't ready to commit to me. She was doing things with other people, and
Fair.
that really hurt me because I, again, fell hard, fell fast. I was like fully committed already. I was acting like a boyfriend without being a boyfriend. And when we decided to call it off completely, I had a really depressive low, and I actually tried to hang myself.
Recently?
Mm-hmm.
You fuck.
Yeah. I still have it typed up on my phone. I have a will basically typed out, and
Dude, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't realize it was that serious or that bad. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
You have my number, and I don't care if it's the middle of the night. I will talk to you.
Yeah, I know, and I know that I have people that I can reach out to. It's just
now. Hold on. Okay, so in the throes of that, what is it that? God. Okay, so going back, and this is something that I'm going to talk about on a future podcast, but lately I've been compiling a list of everybody I've known who's passed away in my life, whether it be from Santa Fe, family, friends, relatives, friends of friends, things like that. Just anybody I've personally come into contact with who's passed away. I'm compiling this list.
Yeah,
and it's well over 60 people already that I know. Yeah. There is a few suicides in there, and being the empathetic person that I am, I struggle with trying to understand what the thought process is in the throes of one of those breakdowns that gets you to the point where you're like, nothing matters. I don't care about anybody or anything, and I'm just going to do this for me and take myself out of here. Like, what? So
what really brought me to the point where I felt like there was no point anymore. I'm talking to a counselor currently, and we've noticed that my key button situations are that I feel I'm wrong in the decisions I make or the actions that I take, and I feel unworthy or I'm not good enough.
But now, I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but not good enough for that situation, for that person, or just in a broad generalization?
A and B. So not good enough for that person, not good enough just in general. It's been something that has been building up through my life, whether it be like not feeling like I'm doing good enough in my parents' eyes as a kid, in my teen age years, all that.
But if it comes down to a logical thought in that moment, like, I would like you, if you feel that way in the future, and I'm not by any means a counselor, or nor should people take my advice as medical or other, but if you get into that situation, I would like you to logically think about, if I'm not that good for this person and I'm not that good for my parents, then why do they care?
Yeah.
Why would, if you think about how many people would be upset or hurt at the loss of you, then that should just like negate. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too logically and I'm not in that headspace. But
yeah, no, I get
there's
that.
things that you should think about that are a grander scheme than just what's in that moment driving you to that thought.
Yeah. Well, and I have the conflicting mindsets of I try to think as logically as I can, but I've also known for a long time I'm very much emotional. My emotions control me.
I understand.
I'm willing to admit it. They control me majority of the time.
And you're preaching to the choir.
It'll overtake the logical thinking, and
that's wild.
What happened was, because I acknowledged, like, yeah, my parents will miss me, my cats will miss me, because I was gone for almost 20 days house sitting, and when I got home to my cats, like, they were just erratic and they were just climbing all over me, and my orange one jumped up on my shoulder. I was trying to get him to do a new trick now, just to like pat here and then pat here and have him come up, but he only did it once when he first saw me because I knew he missed me. But then when you're in that moment, it's like, well, yeah, I'm thinking that they're gonna miss me, but when it's all said and done, I'm not gonna worry that they're missing me because I'm gone. All that,
right? But
that logic is gone then.
And I don't mean to be disparaging to people and be the asshole. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. But isn't that sort of a selfish, like extremely selfish thing to do to other people? Like,
absolutely. Putting
maybe you don't think that you're important, but if you weren't important, nobody would give a shit, and you would be alone in this world. You wouldn't have people being there for you, and somebody can get upset with you. You might feel, oh shit, well, now I really fucked up and that person's upset with me. But like everything is so minuscule and can just be moved on from. It's nothing. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody, like, I've never gotten pissed with you to the point that I'm like, I'm not going to talk to that fucker anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I'll see him the next time he's available. Like, it's okay. Things like that. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It makes me very, very sad. And I'm sorry that you had to feel that way or go through that.
That's okay. And it's, like I said, it was an eye-opening experience. I had to, so when the event happened, we were still in contact because, like I said, she was doing things with another person while we were talking. She actually found out that she was expecting, didn't know if it was mine or his. And so she's going to get everything taken care of. But she was like, if you want, I'll keep you in the loop on that. And I wanted to, because if, it could potentially be my child, I would want to know when everything's taken care of. And so she was still keeping me in the loop on that. We had stopped talking in every other sense. But since we were talking about that stuff truthfully, I told her, I was like, hey, so I don't want to make you feel bad. I don't want to make you feel like this is your fault, but I did this. Like, this is what I've been driven to. And I don't know if it also had some, like, I feel like part of me wanted her to feel bad for it. So I told her, and that was it with the conversation. I was like, obviously I didn't do it, but goodbye, keep me updated. And then the next night at 11 o'clock at night, there's a ring at the doorbell. I'm like, what is that? And I pull up my dad's cameras on my phone. And there's two people standing at the door with radios right here, and one of them's holding a flashlight. She had called a welfare check.
Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm. And so I go out there and I open the door and I start talking to them, and they're like, well, we need to take you to the hospital. We need to get you evaluated physically and mentally. So I pulled my dad in on it, and I had already told my mom at this point. I had pulled her aside that day in the afternoon when I got home from work, and I told her everything that happened, including the attempt. And then I was like, well, I need to talk to someone. I need to get put on some kind of antidepressant, maybe some anti-anxiety medication. And she fully supportive of it. I love my parents to death.
That's
They're
great.
the most supportive. Like, I've told one other person about this, and they're like, dude, your parents are amazing. And like the people that came and checked on me, they're like, you're so lucky to have these supportive parents.
Yeah.
And so my dad was like, no, I think you should go with them. I think you should talk to someone. And my mom hadn't told him all the details. She just said, hey, Peter told me that he wants to get on some medication and talk to someone. She didn't say he just tried to do this, because he went of overthought, or I don't know what the reasoning was, but she didn't want to tell him.
That's fair.
And so then I came out and told him everything that happened right then and there. And
Dude.
So they took me in. I stayed the night at Caseman, basically, I guess, on like a watch. But then they evaluated me. They said that, because I told them, I was like, I don't think that there's the case that it'll happen again, because in that moment, the reason I stopped is because as soon as I started feeling the choking, I was like, nope, too scared. Like, took it off and went and laid back in bed and went to bed. So they cleared me. They said I could go without being admitted, which they recommended. They said, we would like you to stay for like 5 to 7 days. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I've got a job. It's just going to make it worse, because even just being in there that night, I felt like I was a crazy person having to be admitted and watched. So they said they would let me go, even if they thought I should stay, as long as I had a plan laid out, like to talk to someone to get treatment. And so actually tonight at 6:30, I have a virtual appointment with a psychiatrist to talk about it and get the ball rolling on getting prescribed.
Man, I applaud you for that. That's great. I am grateful that you're taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah, it took me a long time.
I would be very upset if you succeeded with what you were doing.
Yeah.
Very upset. So
yeah,
I'm glad you're here.
I appreciate it. I'm glad I am too. I'm moving on. I've, deleted all forms of contact, and I think that's helping. And it's just, I need to not...
You need to take it slower.
Exactly.
I've had experience with that in the past. I think the only time that I've ever felt that dire in my life was, maybe one of my first relationships. But I think over time you kind of just get more and more used to it, and then it becomes less of a big deal. But also, I understand it fully. Like, I'm not blaming you one bit for feeling that way, but there's it's a big sea.
Yeah.
And you're just in a little section of that sea. So
Yeah. Well, I think what was so hard about it was all the time that we were together, because we were talking for just about 9 months. And through that whole time, there was never a single argument. It was always just positive time together. You know, we were laughing. I would get to be myself again. Because after my most recent actual relationship with the girl with the kid, I had felt like I lost myself. I was masking. I was pretending to not be who I really was. So then meeting this girl, and I could be goofy. I could say the stupid shit that came to mind, and like all the references that I have to dumb YouTube videos and shows, and we would just like mesh, and like to the point where we were like finishing each other's sandwiches, each other's sentences, and like just I would go to say something at the same moment she was saying that same thing, and like just a great connection, and then for it to just fall apart. That's what really hurt.
Now, okay, so I guess in the depths of that, it seems like that's like your ideal person, but also if within 9 months she still wasn't fully committed, I don't think she ever was. I think you were just fun for her. You were a friend, maybe with benefits. That she had somebody as a backup to pass time with.
Yeah.
When her true ambitions lie elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to you. Especially because you were all in, unknowingly to her, maybe, you know, I don't know. Did you voice that to her ever, or?
Yeah, I made it known that I wanted to date her. I wanted to go further with it. But it was, and I respect her decision on taking it at a snail's pace the way we were in some aspects, because having a kid, baby daddy's still involved. They co-parent successfully without having courts involved.
Right.
I respected that because I didn't want to, make any waves in that aspect.
Of course.
But she had also, to be fair on her point, she had made it known. She's like, well, I'm not going to date you, at least not for a long time. But I just have the issue with plan for the worst, hope for the best. So I had prepared in a sense that it wasn't going to work, but I still had like this huge hope that something would change, that, she would see that I try to be the best that I could be. Because she even told me, she's like, you provide so much. You are an amazing person. You're super friendly. We get along. I would date you. Like, she even told me at times she had the thoughts of like back and forth between I would marry this guy, and then the next day it'd be like, no, I'm not. And so when
some people just aren't made for that. That's not their thing. They, the thought, I think, of settling down and being in a permanent fixture is too much for some people to handle. It causes claustrophobia and then feelings of anxiety and leads to breakups. Yeah. So maybe it's for the best that it went this way. I mean, not for your situation, but for her. Maybe it's
for
good
both.
She didn't jump into that and cause herself to hate you or resent you because she liked you so much that she wanted to jump. You know what I mean? Like, it gets really complicated. You can get into the weeds about that one.
Yeah.
But God, there's so many. It can just cause so much damage when things aren't going so smooth. Like, that's fucking wild. That is a crazy situation. That's a crazy story. Thank you for being so open and vulnerable about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the more I talk about it, the easier it'll be to get through it.
Well, and I really like that you're seeking therapy or counseling or whatever. Like, all of that. Maybe it's not great for everybody, but it's good for you. It's definitely going to help you.
I think it will.
We need you to be around. Bro, how am I going to... Bro.
I came up with just the line of a song, and I don't even know how I'll actually word it, but something along the lines of, everyone says I dodged a bullet, but it felt like I took one through the heart. And so I'm going to start working on that. Maybe we could do something with it. I
have been telling you for weeks that I want to write a song.
Yeah.
Or write some songs. I'm balls deep in music again, so I want to...
I'll share that process with you on that one.
Please.
All right.
Okay. Speaking of music, we finally got to jam a little bit and share some of our repertoire with each other today. That made me excited.
Yeah, it was. You're talented, man. Shut up. You are. Yeah.
My problem is I'm not broadly generalized talented when it comes to guitar. I mean, I can play notes and melodies and whatnot, but I never like committed to the point that I'm going to learn this entire song frontwards, backwards. I'm going to learn the solo and all the parts to it. I was very selective with the songs that I learned. And so I don't know anything about guitar theory. I don't know how to read sheet music. I don't know anything. Like, of course, tablature, but who couldn't read that, you know?
That's the same as me. Like, I can read sheet music for piano, but I don't. You throw me something that's supposed to be played on a guitar, I'm not going to know what to do.
That shit's wild.
I only know how to read tabs, and then I go off of ear.
Yeah, same.
I've just been, and I can't even say that I've been doing it. I have been doing it since 2011, 2010. Yeah, 2010, because I started in high school.
I am 12 years ahead of you, 13 years ahead of you on that. I started in 97 in high school.
But I also, I have my off periods. You know,
I had a 20-year off period.
Well, then there you
Legitimately, go. I didn't play from like 2004 till recently. So,
but then we were sitting there, and I'm like, oh yeah, Stairway to Heaven. You're like, oh fuck, that's a crazy song. I wouldn't be able to. And then and you start doing it. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I legit didn't think I could remember it.
Yeah,
but I will take the compliment because I feel the same way about you, bro. What you were doing, singing and playing those definitely difficult riffs was fucking impressing the shit out of me. So that's cool. I'm excited to play more music with you and maybe write some music with you.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Let's make this YouTube shit take off.
Yeah, I'm down.
So, I thought maybe we could do it on here. I actually have music stands that have a second mic attachment for guitar. Oh, but okay, you have a guitar that plugs in too. We could plug our guitars directly into this. So
I haven't honestly. I haven't even used the electric aspect of that for so long. The battery had died just from old age inside there, and so I think what I'll do is I'll get it restrung, get the neck adjusted and everything, make sure that the electronics are working fine.
Okay.
But either way, if you have, I'd be interested to see how that sounds different between an exterior mic versus the plug-in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonder if there's a change.
Well, I mean, that's going to depend on the mic quality. These are my best mics, and I don't know how.
With music, it will. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna make things different.
Yeah, but we'll experiment.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I wanted to talk about your dad. On the last episode, you got me super stoked and excited, telling me your dad was a Hercules pilot, and I asked you to see if he would come on here, and I got bad news.
Yeah, he's not the kind of guy to sit and talk about that on a camera, especially not maybe.
What if I hide the fucking cameras? What if I just make it audio and I'd be like,
little lapel button camera?
I'll just be like, I need you to talk into the mic because I have really bad at hearing, and this is the only way I can hear. Yeah,
I mean, I tried getting him. I talked to him about it briefly about what I had done, and then how you wanted him to talk about the stories, and I don't know if it's just a social anxiety thing, or if maybe it's conditioning from the military to not talk about stories. I don't.
Okay, but maybe I can pick an episode that's a little more tame with one of my episodes that's out, and you can show him that. Yeah. I don't want you to show him yours because what if there's something on there he doesn't like and thinks that I'm going to go after all his vulnerabilities? I really just want to hear his flying stories and shit. So
I do have a few ideas. So what I could do is either, because we were talking about earlier, I can ask him questions and write it down and then relay the stories, or I could little recorder,
Don't pressure the guy.
Yeah,
I do respect him. He's a good guy. Your parents are both really cool, but definitely if you can get secondhand, I'll take those. I'll take secondhand stories, and me and you can do this as many times as we need to get them all out. I don't mind that at all.
We used to have, you'd probably appreciate this, we had home video. He would take a recorder, not a camcorder, but it would do the little cassette tape recording.
Yeah.
When they would train in Norway, I think, doing low flying training through the mountains in Norway.
That is so
he has
sick.
In cockpit camera.
Please, can I watch that?
If I can find it again, I'll try to find it.
I won't post that on here. Fuck all you. I just want to see it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool because as a kid, I knew he was gone. I knew he was gone away doing something, but I didn't know what he was doing. But that was what he was doing over there in Europe.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I have many pilot friends now. I'm big into the AvGeek community.
What? You like airplanes?
No. One of my friends flies for a major U.S. airline, and he's not supposed to, but he sends me pictures all the time from the cockpit, and I'm like, oh, that's so fucking cool. I'm so geeking out.
Yeah.
I did tell you about our trip to Egypt, my cockpit visit, didn't I?
I don't think you told me about the cockpit visit.
Bro, okay, so you know more or less the bigger jets, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so our flight from LA, we did business class because of the long trip. I didn't want to sit in coach seats. So
Yeah.
The flights from LA to Paris, we flew in a 777, which was real cool. Really nice plane, really good business class. People were cool. The flight attendants were really nice. Flight attendants, and this goes to anybody listening to this, flight attendants' job is not to serve you drinks and food. That is not their job. They are there because if shit hits the fan, they're going to be the ones to save your ass and get you safely off that plane. That is their job. That is their primary function on the airplane. The fact that they take time out of their schedules to serve you drinks and be your handmaids, if you will, that's just a luxury. That's them being kind to you. So the fact that nobody thanks them, they treat them like shit, they're rude to them, like it's really shitty. So they have to deal with a lot of bad people. Anyway, our second leg of the flight was from Paris to Cairo. We got on a 2-year-old Airbus A350, 900, so pretty damn big jet. And I asked, when I first got on, I asked the first flight attendant I came across. I said, "Hey, who's the flight manager? Who's the lead flight attendant?" And she pointed her out. I said, "Can I talk to her? Can you have her come to my seat?" And she said, "Yeah, after we take off and everything's settled, I'll have her go and talk to you." I said, "Cool, thank you." And so then after takeoff, she came by the seat, and I said, "Because we know what you guys have to deal with, and nobody thanks you, and we appreciate you, so thank you."
Yeah.
And so she was just like geeking out about that. So anyway, throughout this, it was a 6-hour flight, 4-hour flight, something like that. And throughout the flight, we had several of the 14 people working that plane come by to our seats and thank us for it. And we're like, "No, dude, like, thank you guys. It's just a small gesture.
You don't have to thank us for thanking you."
Right. So anyway, about 2 hours in, the head flight attendant comes back to my seat and she said, "The pilot would like to come and thank you personally for that." And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool. Like, I fucking am an AvGeek and I just love planes and I love pilots. So yeah, I'll be glad to talk to the guy."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, cool." So about 20 minutes later, I got up to go use the restroom, which is at the very front of the plane for business class. So I got up and went over there and I was standing in line. Small detail, I left my phone and my recording phone at my seat. Okay. Get up and I go up there and somebody's coming out of the bathroom and I was getting ready to go in and the lead flight attendant, she walks up and she's like, "Are you ready to meet the pilot and the captain?" And I was like, yeah, sure. Let me, and she's like, no, we're going to go in the cockpit. And I was like, like I fucking screamed like bloody murder, like a little girl just super excited.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I'm going to go get your wife and I'll be right back. And then we'll go into the cockpit." And I was like, "Oh my God, okay."
That's awesome.
She went and got Sarah. She came back. We went into the cockpit during flight. Mind you, 41,000 feet in the air, going 500 knots over Athens, Greece. And the captain was just pointing shit out on the ground, like, "That's this harbor, and that's where this is, and that's where this is." And we're just like, I was just geeking out. I mean, Sarah was like, "Oh, this is cool," and I'm over there like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. This is amazing." But yeah, it was like probably about the size of this room, maybe even a little bit bigger.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so fucking roomy. I was standing up comfortably, like, I'm 6'2", and I was comfortably standing up in there.
Wild. I didn't know they were that big.
Oh, it's so big in there, dude.
I've been in like a 737 cockpit.
Yeah, they're kind of small.
Yeah. And I was maybe early teens, like
Well,
maybe 10 to 13.
You can still go into any one of those after any flight. You just kind of have to wait till the plane evacuates and hope that the captain's still there.
Yeah.
But, they're glad on the ground. But it's illegal.
To have it in the flight.
It's illegal everywhere in the world except for 5 countries.
Yeah.
And the airline that we were flying with happened to be one of those ones that it's legal at the captain's discretion. So he told me while we were talking in the cockpit what 5 countries they allow it at the captain's discretion, but I was so geeked out that I don't remember. I remember him counting them out on his hand, but I don't remember what the fuck he said. I was like, cool, I don't care. I'm in an A350 cockpit flying. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that's my nerd fucking story.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned, because you're right. They never get appreciation. I don't know if it's because my dad flew commercial and like if that has an effect on it.
I forgot about that. God damn it. That makes me so much more sad that I can't talk to him.
I flew a lot as a kid, starting at the age of probably like 7 or 8. Every summer I would go, because he was flying for U.S. Airways.
That's so cool.
We would go. I would go from either Ohio or New Mexico to Massachusetts and Maine for free on space available.
So jealous.
Just every summer, and I would get to know the process of going through the airport. One time, actually, I was supposed to be flying unaccompanied minor because I was like 10 years old or something, and they didn't know where I was. I had just done it myself. I went through the airports. I did all the process. I got to where I was going, and they're like, my grandparents were at the airport to pick me up, and they're like, "Where's Peter Johnson?" They're like, "Who? What?" And they didn't know where I was. I just, in their eyes, I was lost. And then I just come walking down the terminal gate, and I'm like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And they're like, "What the hell?" Because I had done it so much at that point, I knew how to do everything.
That's so awesome.
And every time, I'm always walking by the flight attendants. "Thank you guys, I appreciate you," because it's a lot. It's a lot for them to have to do. And like, I can't imagine you get the jet lag from one flight. Can you imagine like going?
Yeah, dude, there's 4 or 5 a day. That's wild.
No set schedule for them in their life.
And you think about like the cruise on. I don't know if you're up to the news, but like at the beginning of this year, end of last year, there was 2 crashes pretty much in the same day. One in Azerbaijan and one in South Korea. Yeah,
I saw the South Korea. It was like the most deadly one they've had in, I can't remember how long.
It was 129 people or something like that on a 737. And the only 2 that survived were flight crew. And they were in the very tail section. And then the other one was 62 people in Azerbaijan, and Russia's air defense system shot them down. And those pilots, if you watch the flight, get onto flight radar and watch the track of that thing, the 3D track, it's wild. Like they were losing altitude, gaining altitude, all over the place, flying erratic as shit, trying to get it. And they got so close to the airport, dude, and they crashed right at the airport. And they lost the front half of the plane to fire. The back half, surprisingly, 29 people, I think, survived, which is a miracle.
Yeah.
Considering if you watch the videos of that plane going down, it's wild. So it's amazing that anybody survived at all. Yeah. But that was thanks to the captain, the first officer, and definitely the flight crew.
Yeah.
So like those people are there for more than just your fucking entitled ass.
Yeah.
They're gonna save you if shit hits the fan. So maybe next time you're on a plane, thank them.
Yeah. I do remember a funny story flying to Europe. I was probably anywhere between 6 and 8 years old. We were going to visit my mom's family. And so long 12, 14-hour flight across the ocean. The plane was pretty much empty in the back half. So they let me have like a whole row of seats, like a bunch of pillows and blankets. And I was just chilling there relaxing. And I got up and I pressed the little flight attendant button. And so they come up and they're like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" And I was like, "Can I please have some more crackers and cheese?" And like they were just like, "Sure." They're like the sweetest people. They were fully accommodating, and
that's so awesome.
But my mom, I just remember my parents telling me later on, they're like, "That's not what that's for," and they're not supposed to do that. Like, you leave them alone.
So I don't want to like make this about planes, but now that we're talking planes, tell me what's your craziest story on an airplane? Like, did you have any bad experiences or crazy like experiences, bad turbulence, anything like that?
I mean, I remember going through some pretty rough turbulence. Nothing that ever made the the oxygen things come out or any
So
decompression.
moderate at worst.
Yeah. Honestly, knock on wood, I've never had any crazy situations in the flight. I do know of like my grandfather who flew small planes, small single engine planes, Cessnas mostly. He went through a Canada geese bird strike.
Oh, fuck.
With him and my dad, I believe, and there was just the windshield's busted out. There's blood and feathers and everything everywhere, and never had to go through something like that. I'll have to get some more stories from him too, because he flew a lot small aircraft. I actually learned unofficially how to fly with him in a
Sick.
Cessna. Did everything but radio
sick.
communication.
Canada gooses are a national treasure, and you'll be well informed to remember that.
Yeah. You better let that one simmer.
Let that one marinate.
No, I haven't had any. Not that I can remember. I feel like I would remember something like that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Considering, the reason I bring it up is because there's so many people with flight anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, people just terrified of flying. Like, it's the worst thing in the world. And self-admittedly, I had that prior to me becoming an av geek. And the reason I became an av geek was because of a scary experience on an airplane. and that being said, even after the scary experience on the airplane that got me super fascinated with airplanes, I still had it in my head that, oh, fuck, man, like, if that can happen on the ground, something's going to happen in the air. And then the deeper I dove into, believe it or not, airplane accident history, the more I learned about every airplane crash that's ever been, and the more I got deep into the av geek community, the more I learned that, like, that is so fucking highly unlikely that it's not that one thing goes wrong on an airplane. It's that 7 things go wrong simultaneously.
Yeah.
And it has to be those exact things in a certain order at a certain time for it to cause an accident or a crash or whatever.
Reaction, yeah.
And, what finally made me a lot more comfortable on an airplane was when I met Captain Jeff, who's a podcaster. And I was sitting down and having a beer with him after work one day, and he was telling me that, he's been he was a military pilot for, I can't remember how many years, X amount of years, let's just say 8. And then he went directly into the airlines, and he's been flying for 38 years. And I'm like, this dude has been flying for 38 years.
Yeah.
4 flights a day, 5 flights a day, with only a couple stories of even remotely dangerous events that have happened on airplanes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what are the fucking odds that I'm going to be on a jet? Like, I mean, knock on wood, anybody can get into one of those scenarios, and you can actually be one of those unlucky people. But if you think about how many flights are in the air at any given time on any day of the year, with how many pilots, how many people are flying, there's hundreds of thousands of flights that happen every year. Hundreds of thousands of flights that happen every year. Like, you open Flight Radar and look at a live radar map, there's far too many planes to count.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of jets just over America at any given time. And we have such an incredible safety record. Our standards are so high. So, like, I don't know. And pilots know what they're doing. That they train regularly in the simulators for the worst case scenario. So even if the worst case scenario happens, like, you don't really have to be so concerned.
Yeah, they're prepared.
It's their job to get you safely on the ground. So
speaking of flight simulators, I've been playing Flight Simulator 2024.
So jealous.
On the Xbox.
I'm not jealous, you're jealous.
It sucks. It's really not that good right now just because I'm using the Xbox control and trying with the little joysticks. Like, it's so erratic. But I'm going to work on getting, like, a yoke and a throttle control and everything.
I want to play.
But when I get that, we'll hang out and I'll bring it over.
Yeah, bloody.
As a kid, I used to spend hours. I would get on Flight Simulator, getting like a 737 because we had just a standard yoke with like a little throttle thing on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I would fly from like one state to another, just flying in a 737, following the pattern. And
that's so cool, dude.
That's what I did for fun as a kid.
That's so fucking cool, dude. We were destined to be friends. I told you Sarah put me in the Flight Simulator in Atlanta, right? The Class D, full motion.
Yeah.
Fire bars.
Yeah.
It was so much fucking fun.
I would love to do it.
I landed The guy was like, you landed that plane better than most pilots do.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's because I'm a geek.
Yep. In high school, we took I was living in Florida near Pensacola Naval Air Station, which is like one of the major Navy training bases for the U.S. Navy. And we took a field trip to the museum part of it, and they had a F-16 flight simulator. And, all of us got to take turns doing it, and I jump in and I, follow the dot, land perfectly, and he's like, holy crap. Like, everyone else is crashing and like messing up. And he's like, okay, let's make it a little harder. So he cuts it to a simulation where it's nighttime over the ocean. I'm trying to land on a aircraft carrier in the middle of a storm. So it's like the aircraft carrier is rocking around. I crashed that one. He was like, okay, let's see. You little cocky shit. Because I was like, yeah, I've flown a small airplane before, and I play a lot of flight simulator. But that was really fun. I've always wanted to be a pilot. It never worked out for me, but
bro, let's just fucking go balls deep and build a full motion simulator. I want to so bad.
I would love to,
dude. I'm part of a community on Facebook.
If only you knew someone that could help with that, or some people.
Do I? I don't know. No. But anyway, this community, bro, there's some of those dudes go hard, like they build full cockpits in their garage and put it up on hydraulics.
Yeah.
So it's like full motion, legit. These computer setups they have are fucking insane, dude. But you're talking the price of multiple cars.
Yeah, let me get this job first. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Peter, you've been working there for 5 years now, and you still don't have any money saved up. What have you been doing? Well,
have you been into the garage?
Come on.
I can fly you anywhere you want to go.
Without even leaving this time zone.
I don't even have a license. It's amazing. Anything else you want to talk about that we didn't on the last one? I'm trying to think of what else I fucking stopped you from finishing.
I might have to rewatch it and see. I can't think of anything else. I know the main topic that you wanted to talk about was the seizures.
Yeah, because I rudely interrupted you and we didn't get to discuss that. I do want to ask, and it's okay if you haven't, but have you been watching any of the other episodes of the podcast?
Yeah, I haven't fully watched through any of them yet. I've got just because they can be long, but I've watched chunks of them. I've watched chunks, and
it's okay, no judgment, dude. Like, it's all right.
I have watched them. Whenever I see you post a new one, I go on there and I like it, and I watch it.
You watch it for 2 minutes.
It's like 5, maybe 10 minutes.
You're like, you should check this out. Oh, right, 911, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that being said, give me criticisms. Give me your honest thoughts. Give me what you think.
Honestly, I think you do a great job, and I don't know if it's because I thought that I never could, I never thought I would be on a podcast, first of all, let alone, I know I won't ever run one. It's such a challenge to coordinate and do all that, and so, honestly, I think you do a great job.
Thank you.
You're consistent with it. You really try to get people to come out and do that, and that takes a lot right there.
That's weird to me. That's a really good point you bring up, because I've had so many people who are like, yeah, I'll do it, and then the day comes up and they're like, oh, I can't do it today. Can we reschedule? I'm like, yeah, we'll reschedule. And then I reschedule them 4 or 5 times, then I'm like, all right, you obviously don't want to do this, so that's okay.
I never did anything like that. I never flaked out on doing a podcast with you. Never. It took you a while to get me or it took me a while to get.
Well, no, but to be fair, when we scheduled it, when we scheduled it, you showed up. So that was not the issue. The issue was actually finding a time that we both had that you could commit to, and that's okay.
Fair point. Yeah.
But like I'm talking about, I've invited a number of, let's call it 4 or 5 people for sure, that have repeatedly said they want to do it, and I've repeatedly scheduled them, and they've canceled last minute on me. And so after 3 or 4 times, I'm like, you know what, you're done. You obviously don't want to do this. You can contact me if you want to be on it. That's okay. Like I'm not going to hold a grudge. I'll gladly have these people still on here, but
I'm not going to make my schedule now around.
Right. I'm not going to continue to because I could put somebody in that schedule who will show up and does want to be on the podcast, and that's okay. Like, and it's not for everybody. And it's okay to tell me no. You don't have to. Well, what about anything you don't like about it? Obviously, the length. But to be fair, I blame that on TikTok because everybody has a fucking 20-second time attention span now, and
Hey, I had that before TikTok. I was cool. I did that way before TikTok. No, it's just, and it's not even that it's an issue that the length of the videos. It's just my ADHD. You know, it's or like the times that I try to pick to watch the video, I'm like, oh shit, now I got to go do this.
Well, but also it's got to be, I feel like, a really enticing subject matter to draw somebody's attention in for the entire time. Now, the shitty part is all of my episodes have some really good shit in them, like really interesting stuff, but it's at different points during conversation that these come out. So you have to listen to all the boring, mundane shit to get to the good shit. But I feel like on some episodes, the good shit's at the end or it's in the middle, and the mundane shit just puts people to sleep, and they're like, I don't want to finish this, or I can't. This is too boring.
I'll watch more through, and I'll see if I can come up with any criticisms or.
You don't have to. I'm not judging at all. You don't have to.
It would be helpful to you, and I want to be able to help.
Okay, well, and I do want the criticisms. Don't just come at me with "you're doing a good job" and I think the podcast is cool. I want you to tell me, like, honestly, what
James, you fucked up here.
Especially you. Your opinion's going to be super valid because of your ADHD. You and Chase both, like, you guys have really good opinions because you have that distraction. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy for you to get distracted. Like, I'd like to know how to improve it to the point that it can draw somebody like you in and keep your attention the entire time. So
School, I'm just about done with school. I'll be done in fall for IT.
Lovely. What, no, IT security or something like that, right?
So, yes, IT with a focus in cybersecurity.
Sick.
So I just got my computer security certification. I'm still working on getting my CompTIA, which is like just tech knowledge of like troubleshooting, fixing, making networks, setting it all up essentially. And that one's a pain in the ass because it's
how so?
Like, there's a book about that thick that has all the potential questions and what they could ask on the test, but it's never going to be,
of course,
the same stuff.
Of course.
And I've just had a hard time passing that certification.
What does that entail? Is that like you're going to use XYZ cable to run this to this for this functionality? And
exactly, and you have to know what type. They'll give you a diagram of like a computer setup, and you have to go through drop down menus for each component and say, oh, well, you want to use this one, this brand with this model and this amount of space to do this that provides this outcome that this customer wants. Like, this guy wants to play this video game but also have streaming ability, and what devices do you need to put in there? And I'm like, what? Yeah, brain fart, exactly.
But I do. I want you to pass that because that's going to be valuable to me. And I would like to use your services.
It would be great to have that information, and I don't know if it's just my studying techniques or my ADHD or.
But that's a lot to learn, though, dude. That seems like a legit 4-year college kind of a course to pass or certification to get.
And they're cramming it into, because it's an accelerated program, so they're doing 4-year program in a 2-year span.
Oh my God. Okay, so when I went to college in Oklahoma, total sim, I was going for avionic electronics and instrumentation. I was going to be a technician for that. Oddly enough, I had no interest back then in airplanes whatsoever, and it was an accelerated program as well. It was 19 months. Yeah. I made it through 6 months, and I think I lost interest because we hadn't started any of the fun shit yet.
Yep.
The one class we did start was basic electronics, and they were teaching you soldering and how to read capacitors and what each component did and what it was and how it worked with circuit boards and whatnot. So that was cool, but I think at that point I was so uninvested in it. I was already so done with it that I dropped out and left, which sucks because I was a third of the way through it. I had gotten all the basics out of the way except for one, Algebra 2. That was the only basic I had left, and then it was going to be all airplane stuff, and I fucking left. Yeah. In retrospect, that sucks, but...
And it's never too late.
I have a career. I'm okay.
Just do it for fun.
I'm doing this for fun.
Yeah.
And I catch planes on my phone for fun.
There you go. And throw discs.
And and throw discs, and I take flights all over the place. So that's for fun. Now, so how long did you say you have left in school?
Should be, my game plan is this coming fall. I should be done, assuming that all the rest of my classes go smoothly and I don't have to retake anything. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, are you planning to be like 99% of the country and just taking that degree as a bragging right and not getting into that field?
The plan is I will use it if this job doesn't happen yet.
So here's the thing, though. This job will probably pay equally, if not better than that.
Exactly.
but it's, I don't know. I guess that's a better backup.
So I'm playing the waiting game now for the job. When I finish school, will I use what I've learned and the certs that I have to try to get a job that's not walking around, the home improvement store helping people get water tests and that, getting paid $17 an hour.
Whatever works.
I'd definitely rather do, like, my buddy, he does help desk and it's a remote job. He sits at home and he gets paid, I think, in the 20s an hour. And whenever I ask him about how was your day, he's like, I had like 2 calls. And then the rest of the day, he's like fucking streaming video games. Wow. He's editing videos, and he gets paid to do all that. And I'm like, that would be pretty fucking sweet.
Are you hiring?
They are. But the thing is, I need the CompTIA certification. And so he has all of his certs because he got that in high school. The high schools here in New Mexico, I know that our education program here is kind of fucked. But that's one thing that I will acknowledge is like their trades, like the stuff that they can get kids into in high school with the welding programs that they have in high school already, the tech programs. My high school didn't have that. Sure.
I was going to say that might be regional even for New Mexico because I went to school in Santa Fe and Santa Fe High School had a auto body shop. Mm-hmm. But anything I was interested in, which was cars at the time, my school didn't have anything, any of it. Like, that's why I got into music. That seemed like the next logical choice for me, that I was interested in music and I wanted to figure out how to play guitar. So that's what I got into. But given my choice, I would have gladly got into welding. I would have gladly got into architecture. I would have gladly got into automotive. And none of that was available. And I feel like going back to I don't know, I guess we said something about it earlier, but our whole entire school system it needs a revamp. It needs a makeover. They need to teach life lessons instead of fucking I'm never gonna have a calculator in my pocket all the time. Never. Yeah. Never gonna be able to know all the information that's available to mankind at any given time. I'm never going to be able to know that.
Hey, but what if you're out in the wilderness and you need to find the area of this little triangle? How are you... That happens so often.
Yeah, I need to find the radius of this tree so I can figure out how to survive.
Yeah. I completely agree. I always laugh about that. Like, we're never going to have a calculator.
But dang it, I can balance my checkbook and I can make food, but too bad I'm out here in the wilderness with no way to survive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. It's kind of ass backwards.
Yeah. Or how to get, into a career that you like. That's something that they need to be... Because, again, with having the trade schools, with him being able to take these courses to get certified for free in high school, which I now have to pay. Cool. And I'm lucky in the classes when they offer, not coupons, but vouchers for the test. And so I've taken the...
Here's a 2-for-1 coupon. You get one class.
I've taken the CompTIA one twice, failed it both times. They were free because it was one class that offered it. Another class that I took offered it as well. But now the next time I want to take it, I'm going to have to fork over, I think it's like $200-something.
Ouch.
For every time that I have to try to take it. So I really hope this next time when I pay for it that I pass.
I think that's a little bit more of a motivator.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely could be. But like to be able to get that in high school for free and then not even necessarily have to do something with it, but now you have it. You have that certification when you're out of school.
I'm very envious of that. That's super awesome.
Yeah. So that would be nice to get into a job like that, especially being remote, because then I can just, pack up and go visit my family in Maine and still keep working.
Yeah.
Or go wherever and just, as long as I have an internet connection, I can work.
Totally.
So that would be...
That's fucking wild because, I admittedly, I'm intelligent in the way that I can do schoolwork. I can do math. I'm good in English. I know science. I know these things, but the reason I had a really poor GPA was because I did not believe in homework. That shit made me so mad. So I didn't do homework. But looking back on it, like everything that I knew and learned from high school, none of it applies to my life or never has.
Yep.
Since graduating, I haven't used any of it aside from my guitar skills that I learned in high school.
Yeah. Anything that I bring up that has to do with high school, I'm like, why do I need to know this? Like, it's the useless knowledge. Like, because I took marine biology in Florida, because it's Florida, you're by the ocean. And it was fun. I liked it, but I couldn't. There's nothing other than going and working for aquarium or
right.
like the very small job market there is.
Right.
Like I can go. That's the useless knowledge. I can go to our aquarium here and be like, oh, that's a red drum, or that's a Gulf snap, or
right.
Just name a fish, and it's like, okay, cool, but like, what are you gonna do with that?
That's like me. I can name any airplane that's flying by. There's no jobs out there for airplane spotters. But that like adds to my point. Everything that I'm interested or my life is functional around now, like everything from me building police cars to working at O'Reilly, learning about cars. I learned all of that shit myself.
Yeah, wasn't in school.
Playing disc golf. I learned that shit myself. Spotting airplanes and learning everything there is to learn about airplanes. I did that myself. Like nothing that school taught me aside from learning from guitar from my teacher and then friends in high school. I've never applied any of it to my life, which is fucking sad.
Yeah, it's kind of eye-opening.
Yeah, they really need to look at that, and especially when it leads into the college and the prices we're paying for college. My brother graduated with his degree from NMSU, and he's not using his degree. And when he graduated, he had like $41,000 in student debt.
Yeah,
bro, it's more now. His total that he owes them is about $4,000 higher now because he wasn't financially stable enough to make the full payments, so they tacked on interest and tacked on interest and tacked on interest. So his total didn't drop; it went up. So now he owes more than when he graduated. It's so fucked. So fucked.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Listen, I've taken all of your time again, and I appreciate it. And thank you again for the vulnerability, man. That was some deep conversation. We hadn't talked about that before. So
and I know you like having the surprise of not knowing what we're going to talk about ahead of time.
Yeah, but that's a little more serious.
You curveball.
I'll gladly take those conversations before talking about it on the podcast. Because had you been successful, we wouldn't be able to have that opportunity. So please don't.
It won't happen again.
Please. And if it starts to creep on you, those feelings, call me. I'll be a dick about it, but I'll give you some rational thoughts.
Yeah.
All right.
I will.
All right. And on that note, this has been another episode of Ordinary Joe's Extraordinary Stories, and they were fucking extraordinary. And so I appreciate you guys for watching at home. Please like the channel, share it with your friends, comment below. Let's get a conversation going. Also, we're on Spotify. I don't know if any of you guys know that. You can listen to me in your car.
Ooh.
If anybody wants to. We're also on Google, all of those podcast apps. So everybody share it with your friends, and let's get some more people interested in these conversations because ordinary people have extraordinary shit to say too. So thank you again, Peter, for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We will have you again.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
All right. Bye.
Oh, that was good. That was so good. You're a fucking wild man, dude. You did spring it on me. I had no clue, and that was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I, again, am very grateful that you're okay and didn't do some rash shit.
Yeah, I am too. It was just a lot going on.
I didn't want to, say it on there, but what the fuck? How? What? There's so many still questions. It's not appropriate to talk about it, but I want to. Why did you pick that means and method, first and foremost?
So, I actually had a childhood friend, Eric, who I grew up with when I lived here as a kid. He successfully achieved it that way. He took a jacket tied the sleeves around the curtain rod, or not the curtain rod, the clothes rod in the closet, and you make the loop out of the shirt or the jacket, and you put your head into it. And the way it holds your head is it cuts off that blood flow right there, and within 10 seconds you pass out, and then your body weight finishes the job. And so I was like, well, that seems like the most peaceful way, because the day before I had gone up to the Sandia, to a spot that we had gone before, me and the girl, and I remember being like anxious that she was near the edge. But I was like, well, I'm gonna go out near the edge, and then I got out there and like on the edge, and I was like, this is terrifying. Like to actually have to try to make that commitment, that would be, like a more traumatizing end. Even though the trauma's not gonna be that long, but so I backed down from that, drove back home, and that the next night is when I did that. But
And what was going through your head when you're in there with that?
I was just kind of like working myself up to it, like.
And were you thinking, okay, well, this is gonna be over. I'm gonna be gone. It's okay. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
it's not. It's not okay.
But and again, it's a selfish mindset of like, well, yeah, the other people that are gonna have to go through, finding out that happened, and then being sad, that sucks. But I'm ultimately, since I'm gone, it's not my problem.
Doesn't matter. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, well,
Dude,
this will hopefully help with as far as like getting on some meds.
I sure hope so.